All right, we are live here. Today we're with Mr. Barr here. I would say awesome guy. I've known him for a few years now, so you would be my great uncle-in-law.
Correct.
Ish.
Ish.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Trust me, it's very
It's
interesting.
a long story.
Yeah. So, with that, I know for a fact he's gonna help you guys out there a lot as well as me, because he knows a lot. He hunts, obvious, as you can see, the bow and the is it a shotgun, right?
Yeah, that's a shotgun.
And it's a pump. Okay.
That's a Henry's 410 lever action shotgun.
Fancy.
Yeah, yep, it is. It was my birthday present to me from my family 2 years ago.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how I was saying, he hunts, and I guess we will start with that, because I know there's a lot of people out there who hunt for fun and hunt to hunt, because I've heard way back when that we are supposed to hunt to buy our food, but we've kind of not done that, right? It's just like, oh, let's go eat fast food. It's easy. You don't have to think. You don't have to hunt. You don't gotta, smell wherever you're gonna go to actually to do work to get your food. So, with that being said, hunting. I got it.
I mean, we've been hunting from the beginning of time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we survive. So we've been doing it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Some of us chose different paths in our lives. And there's nothing wrong with having different paths. But some of us still like to hunt, love to be able to provide for our families and our friends, to be able to have something that's 100% organic. Hunting brings a lot of different things to me. It could bring different things to different individuals. People think of it as either an adventure, taking you from California to the East Coast, or taking you from California to Alaska, or to Africa, or to Iran. Believe it or not, you could travel. You could hunt almost in every part of the world and be able to have an adventure. Some people do it for spiritual reasons. I've been doing it. I'm a third generation hunter, so we've always hunted. It's always been wing shooting. Wing shooting means waterfowl, birds, quail, pheasant, ducks. We've part of the family. They hunt deer and elk and things like I do, and we enjoy it. And it's for us, it's a way of life.
Yeah.
Right. It's a different way to fill the freezer. It's a different way to recharge your battery. That's a different way to fill my freezer, feed my family.
Yeah.
Go out and enjoy the wildlife and understand it and learn it. Because every time you go hunting, no matter where you're going, and even though if you do the same thing, if you're a waterfowler and you hunt waterfowl, you're always going to learn something for the rest of your life. So it never stops teaching you. So that's something that you always got to remember in life, that life is always going to teach you no matter what. We could learn from young people and our older generation, right? People that we respect, right? Like we should respect. So, I love to hunt. I continue to do that. My wife used to hunt, and my children hunt, and grandpa and grandma and uncles and cousins and friends. So it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah, well, then you have some people like, oh, don't kill the animals, all that kind of stuff, which is valid. You have your own opinion. Cool.
Right.
But I just want to hear your side on that.
But that's why it's regulated by the DNRs, or the Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Okay.
Right. The game wardens. They're out there to protect. The game wardens are out there to protect our resources. right? But then the Department of Fish and Wildlife, they're there to manage the wildlife. And a lot of their information that they get it from us hunters, because there's paperwork that we're able to fill out and give them input, as well as they have their own biologists that go out there.
Wow.
Right? So to protect the species, I mean, Teddy Roosevelt, he's the one that designed all this, right? Not control it, but you must maintain. You don't go out there and just kill everything, right? You just can't shoot every day.
Yeah.
You can't hunt every day. There's times, there's seasons,
Okay.
there's species. There's a limit of take, which means, like here in California, for deer season, which is right now, right? I could get 2 deer tags in the state of California,
Okay.
right? Wisconsin, right? Russell,
Yeah.
right? Russell, well, he just got his deer tags.
Nice.
He's got 3 doe tags and 1 buck tag, right? But he's in Texas. They do the same thing. They have 2 doe tags and 1 buck tag. So it's regulated. So that means it's regulated. Right
Yeah.
now is waterfowl season. Waterfowl season just started last weekend, right? Well, there's certain weapons you need to use. Like, for example, I use this 410 opening day, right? We're only allowed, so shoot time starts at 6:22. We're only allowed to use steel shot. We're only allowed 25 rounds on our possession. We're only allowed to take 7 ducks total, but there's other species you're not allowed to take. So you can't shoot everything that you want, and you can't shoot everywhere you want.
Yeah.
So there's protected zones. I mean, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, but everything is regulated. So, so what we do is when I go out and I go hunting, it recharges my battery. It makes me feel good. I don't beat my wife. I don't kick my dog. I don't take drugs. I'm not an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I love the outdoors. I love Mother Nature, and I love sharing that passion with others, rather than being younger or older. And I continue to do that. So that's what my father and my family has done for others as well. So it's something that you enjoy and we protect. Okay, we protect it at the same time. All our licenses and our tags that we buy goes back into the wildlife, right? It's $1 billion business. We're talking clothes, accessories,
Yeah.
right? Accessories, the weapon, the firearms, and then there's certain taxes that they take with that to help manage the wildlife.
That's awesome. Yeah, because for me, I wasn't around it because I was broke. We're like, okay, how do you survive to eat, right? And so for me, this is all new. Friends, family, they're all like to hunt and stuff. I'm like, guns, ooh, no, all this
Right.
kind of stuff.
Right.
Hence, I wanted to sit with him because you can't just bring your
Shotgun.
just out and about, right?
No, right? No, there's laws.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
of course.
Yes.
So with that, you can, right?
No. There's
bow and arrow?
so the arrows. No, everything has to be concealed. Everything has to be in its right spot.
Oh,
Right. So I said earlier, like you have to have licenses.
yeah.
For one, you have to have a license. There's no difference if you have to have a license to drive. So we can't start driving. I think, what is it, 15 now? I can't remember. 15 or 16
Yeah.
years old.
And a half.
You know, right? You have to go
permit and stuff.
through driver's ed, and you have to go through a written test, and then you have to do something online, and then you have to have so many hours at night, and then you have to have driving for so long, and then once you get all that done, eventually you're going to take your driver's education test once all that's done,
Yeah.
and then take a driving test to get your driver's license.
Mhm.
And that's in most states, right? Okay, so for hunting, for the state of California, right, as long as you could read and write, you could take the test at any age. So I got my hunting license at 9, right?
Wow.
Actually, it was 8.5,
Yeah.
right? And I was able to read and write, kind of, and understand. I did pass the class, obviously, um, and I've been shooting and hunting my whole life, but you got to understand all this needs respect, right? We need to respect these.
Yeah.
No difference that we have to respect our vehicles. No difference than we have to be a respectable drinker. We need to be respect in our finances.
Yeah.
We need to be we need to be respectful for the women, right? Men have to open the door for the women. They have to respect the women,
Yeah.
right? Or we respect our elders, and that's something you grow up with. You should do every day. You go to a restaurant, you see a woman, you're walking up there, you open the door for her, right? And you let them in, and you let him in if he's with her, right? If you happen to be at that door at that time.
Yes.
So going back to licensing and when you can take all this out, you need to pass your hunter's education course first before you go hunting. So you and then there's different types of hunting, right?
Okay.
You got waterfowl, you got varmint hunting, you've got big game hunting, you've got wing shooting. So there's different types, but as far as putting it on the table, oh my gosh, you could eat beaver, you could eat squirrel, you could eat ducks, you could eat geese, pheasant, deer, elk, pig,
Yeah.
javelinas. So there's a lot. There's many species that you could actually eat and harvest. But all those species I just mentioned have different methods of take, and they have different seasons and different places you can go to. So as far as walking around with just a firearm or shotgun, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not. It needs. Your firearm needs to be separated from your ammo.
Of course.
Everything needs to be under lock and key when you're transferring it, right? And then there's certain ammunition that you're supposed to use for species.
Oh wow!
Right, and different types. Same thing with archery. There's different heads, broadheads, and game heads that you would use for different species as well. So it's a little complicated, but it takes time, right?
Course,
so I'm 58 years old.
Years young.
I've been hunting since I can walk and fishing outdoors. So I respect the outdoors.
Yeah.
And you learn to respect these things, right? And they're always under lock and key. They're always under protection here in the house.
Yeah.
So no one else could get to them.
Yeah.
So that's called responsibility. And so it teaches you that. Okay, like sports.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of you guys out there, a lot of men, women, and children, they love sports. But there's a discipline. There's a way to play baseball. There's a way to play rugby. There's a way to play soccer. There's a way to play football. It's not all for all, one for all. You don't take a tennis ball and go run a touchdown with a tennis ball.
Yeah.
Right? So there's lots to learn. But with discipline, right? With discipline, with the sport, hunting and providing for your family takes just as much, if not more, discipline. So with that, helps you grow into a better person, and it helps you to be a better person to yourself and to others. And that's how I perceive it. Now it might be different for everybody else out there.
Yeah.
But it's always good to try to find somebody to help you go along, to help you learn these things, or guide you, or tell you where to go.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, because like all in all, in this thing called life, it's like, here you go, here's life, and it's like, who do I learn from, right? And with that, it makes perfect sense, because you could do some harm with that stuff.
You can,
if you're not trained and you don't think right up to a point.
Well, so can a hockey stick, because I've seen a hockey stick beat somebody up pretty bad.
That is true,
right? I mean it's not so much this that could do the damage. It's still this.
Oh, okay.
It's the user, and it's this.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's called discipline, and then that is so important. It's frightening, and how do you teach? You asked the question a few minutes ago. You learn from your father, your mother, your uncle, your aunt, your friend.
Yeah.
You know, you go to different organizations.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm going to learn about waterfowl, there's a nonprofit organization called California Waterfowl Association.
Nice.
It's called CWA.
Yeah.
Look them up. Okay, 20th century. This is what most kids do now. People do.
All the
They're trying to
information at
learn
your fingertips.
their fingertips, but this just kind of gets you there.
Okay.
You need to put, once you figure out where you're going, you got to put that away,
Okay.
and then you got to have hands-on, right? Then you have to learn the real stuff. I could sit here and play with that and shoot things and play football and play baseball with that device.
Yeah.
But when you come out here in life,
Yeah.
you need to do it with these
Yeah.
and with these and these and this. This is what's going to get you there.
Yeah.
Elk hunting, right? Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Go look them up, right? Deer hunting, California Deer Association, right? CDA. Go talk to those. Join their clubs. Join their clubs by their memberships, right? Gives them money to help provide education to all the people who want to learn all these things, right? CBH, California Bow Hunters. If you're a bow hunter or if you're a shooter,
Yeah.
you need to be a member of CBH, right? Everybody knows who NRA is,
Yeah.
National Rifle Association. They defend our
Rights. Yeah.
rights.
Yeah.
Right? What is that? Second Amendment,
Yeah.
right?
Right to
They
bear
work
arms.
their right to bear arms, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I would say up to a point.
CD,
Arms right
California Hunting Association, right? California Bowmen. See, California Bow Hunters. They need to be a member for that, for California, because they protect every archer's rights, all archers, right? Whether they're a hunter, whether they're a target shooter, or just recreation, going to the local bow shop,
Yeah.
right, and learning. I mean, those are the people you want to be a part of. So that's where your money should go. So that's where you're going to learn.
Yeah.
Be a member, be a life member, or pay every once a year, because that would be your passion. That's something you want to learn by. Those are the companies you want to support. So that's kind of like where it starts. That's where you learn when you ask me that question.
Yeah.
Like how do they find out?
Yeah. Which, yeah, you can, like how you're saying, you can go online, you can learn all this kind of stuff. It's like, okay, how do I change a flat tire on a car? Let's go on YouTube. Okay, you know how it works, but it's like, oh, you got to put that muscle. You got to use leverage, because after you're driving for a long time, it gets hot, right? And then you're like, okay, I have a flat or whatever. It's still pretty hot. So you should probably wait if it's safe, and you have to know certain things. Hence why you don't just tighten your lug nuts. You should have them torqued, because as they get hot and it's over torqued, they snap. I've seen it.
Right. But you learn that.
Yes.
You could read it, and I could race a car on here and go around corners and do Malibu Grand Prix, right?
Yeah.
But not till you get behind the wheel, how you really feel it.
You're like, oh, this is G-force.
The G-force.
Oh. It's like, oh, that's a bump.
That's a bump. Yeah.
Oh, he's about to pass me. You got to flag him by.
There's
it's
a
not
lot of things you need to consider.
Yeah.
And the same thing with archery or firearms. But again, it's responsibility.
Yeah.
And you got to make the right choices.
Yeah. And how do you get your kids to hunt, or how did that work out? Like, hey, let's go hunting, here's this, or it was just kind of slow over time? Yes. How did you do that?
It's something you never want to rush through.
Okay.
So that's a good question. It's something that's been in our generation, like I said, 3 generations. So they see it and they breathe it and they eat it, right? So my kids grew up eating elk and deer and pig and
That's awesome.
quail and pheasant and ducks and fish, from freshwater to saltwater, right? They grew up eating that. That's easy, right? And then And then they see you, and they smell the smells, and oh, look at these pictures, and it's just something that you're raised with. So every child, everybody, we're all born, as a clean slate.
Yeah.
But we all have different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Within those personalities comes a drive, and a certain drive towards certain things, and what they see in their perspectives will want them to either like it or dislike it.
Okay.
Right? So, like one of my sons, or my son Wyatt, right? He fell in one of his first early duck hunts, and he fell in the mud.
Okay.
It kind of turned him off a little bit, and it took him a little bit longer to enjoy it than, say, my other daughter Whitney. Whitney loved it from the get-go. So did Wyatt, but she didn't have that falling in the mud, bad experience, getting wet type thing.
Yeah.
Like Wyatt was, but Wyatt was just all over the place, and Whitney was more like kind of watching and learning, and Wyatt was just, he was playing and doing stuff, and well, he got wet, got muddy. But as time goes on, they see things, and they see what you do, and they kind of imitate you. So kids imitate you around the house.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you're going into a drawer, or you're cooking dinner, or you're going in the closets, they're little yous always. They're sponges, and they're great sponges.
Yeah.
And the time to teach children is from the day that they're born. Right? Is to talk to them, nurture them, take care of them. So as Whitney and Wyatt were growing up, because they're the hunters out of the 4 children we have together, between Diane and I. Davy hunts a little bit. Bernie does not. They enjoyed it. They loved the outdoors, because we always went camping, or we traveled somewhere, and we made it fun, because we like to have fun.
Yeah.
Right? So they were brought up that way. So it was easier for them to get into it, and it comes more natural to them because they were raised with it.
Yeah.
Right? Because you asked me that question was, how did they get into it? Well, they got into it because I was into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Diane's family, my wife, right,
Mm-hmm.
your aunt, right, they all hunt.
Yeah.
Right?
The
All
big
the
hunters.
brothers are big hunters, and that's how we all got along so well. And some of the other generations, the Russes and the
Russes.
Rondas and the,
What's that, Russ?
they were right there too, but they didn't really come full bloom until a little bit later in life, right?
Okay.
Right, but they're great at it. They love it, and they're quick to learn. They're quick to. They were raised with it. It was easier for them to understand it. For somebody who's new, wants to get into it, really need to talk to somebody who's already been doing it,
Yeah.
or get involved in a nonprofit, organization like Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, CBH, California Bow Hunters.
Yeah.
That's stuff like that. Those are the people you want to hang out with, or learn from, and go to tournaments, go to fishing tournaments, go to 3D tournaments, go to trap shoots, go to, but before you get there, you still have to learn, what is it do I really want to do? Do you want to provide for the family?
Yeah.
Or do you want the recreation? So you got all those thoughts need to be compiled as you go. I'm helping a friend right now who for the past 8 years, who just got into hunting.
Okay.
And he's killed deer, killed waterfowl, loves quail hunting, he loves dogs. But he's learning, but he's still learning, and he's just a little younger than I am, and so I enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot. So it's like peeling an onion. You just got to do one layer at a time.
Yeah. Do it slow.
Do it slow. Don't rush into it. Do it slow. Learn. You don't want to make mistakes out there.
Yeah, because they could be bad, real bad.
Yeah, can.
So with that being said, how do you not be like, hey, you should go out there, go do this. It's gonna help out your life. Like, as in not being fun. Like,
Right.
you need to go out there. I'm out there. You have to be out there. It's kind of like, let's go, 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 go.
Right. How do you not do that?
Yeah.
How do I not do
Yeah.
that? Ask them.
Yeah.
Good question.
He's like, you're
The
going.
world needs everybody.
Okay.
Another good friend of mine, he said, everybody has something to offer in life, no matter who they are. Would you agree with me on that?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Everybody, no matter their education, what size they are, what nationality they are, male, female, right? Doesn't matter. Everybody has something to offer in life. And not everybody is an outdoorsman, right? Not everybody loves to hunt, like you were saying before. And that should be okay, because we've been hunting since the beginning of time. We've been building since the beginning of time. So building takes an architect, right? Takes builders, takes construction, right? Takes a plan, right? Takes land. Well, those three things I just mentioned are careers, right? You got a builder, you got an architect, you got a landowner, you got a manufacturer who's building things like this mic, and this, right? The mic, the computer, the cameras. There's people who build that. Not all of them are made to be outdoors, right? We need those people there to do things like that. But it doesn't mean that, one day I'll learn how to use a GoPro or something like that. I've always wanted to do that. Still haven't done it, right? There's something called a shot cam, and it's it connects to your bows, right? And it'll connect to down here below your barrel, and it'll connect here to my stabilizer, and it videos your hunt by vibration.
Oh yes,
right?
That's sick.
So it's called a shot cam. They're really nice. Still haven't bought it, right? and but we need people like that to make things like that, and it's not always a hunter. How do I not? I always bring it up.
Okay.
I always bring it up. I always bring up, I just came back from this hunting trip, or we just came back from this fishing trip, or, so just try to build a relationship with people to find out what they like. Take something out. To me, it's a beginning talking point, and some people, like you said earlier, do not like firearms.
Yeah.
They do not like guns or weapons or even the outdoors. Who wants to go get dirty?
They're like, oh, I had them under my nails.
Heaven no, and that's perfectly fine, and we should be okay with that, though. And that's what I was trying to say. I think I was trying to say earlier, is that we need to be okay with that, because it's not bringing harm to anybody. It's not. I mean, everything's regulated. Everything's regulated by their department, whether it's the Department of Fish and Wildlife, DNR, right? They control our seasons and control the hunting and control the times, along with these nonprofits like CWA, CBH, California Bow Hunters, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. We work together with the biologists, us as hunters, and those organizations actually work with the state. Okay, so that's the legislative teams, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with broadcasting. There's a broadcasting rule. There's rules for broadcasting. You got to follow those rules. There's people that control that, right? But there are people out there that use broadcasting and sometimes say things that they shouldn't say.
Of course.
Let's not go there, right? But that's the same thing with hunting or the outdoors. That could get out of hand. But so can a mic.
Yeah.
It very easily used in the wrong way, but it needs to be controlled. So with control, or with managing, everything becomes neutral, becomes easier. We don't have to. You don't go out there and say, "Hey, you want to be a hunter? You want to hunt? You like hunting? You should hunt. You need to hunt. You need to come out. You need to try this. This is the best drug in the world, because there is no alcohol, there is no drugs, there isn't. It's being out here in the wilderness.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody sees the morning sunrise. Not everybody sees it set. Nobody ever sits outside and looks at the stars out in the middle of nowhere, hearing all the critters walking around, and the geese flying over, and you know, the owls hunting at night.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just beautiful. The fish going upstream. I mean, to hear that at night, it's awesome. It's one of the most awesomest things I've ever experienced. And it's things like that, you don't experience that at home.
Or on your phone.
Or on your phone. Yeah, you could experience a hunt. You could learn how to put all this together. You can learn how to put something together. You can do all that. But are you really doing it?
Yeah.
Or are you just lying to yourself? Right?
Oof.
So be happy with what you choose, and be happy for others what they choose. Right? Don't be casting stones at a glass house.
Yeah.
You know, be careful. My wife tells me this all the time. You know, you need not to be so opinionative. You know, I throw my opinion around a lot when we're together. I don't do it a ton when I'm out and about, but I'm a black and white guy. You know, even though I'm Italian, I'm black and white.
Yeah.
I see it. I call it like what it is.
Yeah.
And if you're, you know, that's what it is.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
It's really simple. So
That's awesome.
being honest. That means being honest, right? That
Yeah.
means we're honest with each other. I'm not being rude. We're just being honest.
Yeah, for sure. And you have a lot of people who say stuff as like a certain way, and you're like,
Right.
I shouldn't have said it like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We do that.
Yeah.
at times.
Like, oh, tone
Oh,
it down.
sorry.
Tone it down.
So slow down, right?
Yeah, you're good.
Slow down.
Breathe. Oos. And I'm sure you being out wherever you're out hunting, and you just chill, you breathe, you're just like the namaste, right?
Yeah.
Hey, yogis.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great experience. It really is.
So, how did you two meet? Yeah, you and your wife.
Diane. Well, funny enough how you bring that up. I was just coming back from a 2-week fishing trip.
Okay.
And yeah, we had some steak there, but Dad and I wanted some meat, some steaks. And Dad lived in Anaheim. I lived in Palm Springs at the time. So I said, hey, let's just go to the Black Angus over there off of Beach Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he was going to bring his wife or his girlfriend at the time. And I said, yeah, so let's go there. So we went there, and so Diane was the hostess.
Okay.
At the Black Angus, right there, off the 91 and Beach Boulevard, Buena Park. And I didn't see her when I walked in. When we walked in, she saw me when I was walking in, and we got sat at our table, our booth there, and she told all the hostesses that, okay, I get this whole section over here from now on. I see everybody over here. You guys can take the rest of the restaurant. And so she made sure that she was a hostess in that area. And so we sat down in a regular restaurant. She'd come by, Diane would come by, and she goes, hi, is everything okay? I said, yeah. She goes, you need some more water? I said, oh, sure. You know, I thought she was cute. And she'd come by and give us water, and we'd sit there for a while, and then she'd come by again. She goes, hi, is everything okay? You know, can I get you anything? Is there anything I can do for you?
Yeah.
You know, is it too hot in here? Is it too cold? You know, and I mean, she really asked that.
That's awesome.
She's like, so that's kind of how we met. So she kind of broke that ice. And
Okay.
That's how we met.
So it was all on her to try and.
Yeah. So everything that's
speak to
happened since then, it's been her fault.
So,
It's all her fault. It's all her fault.
So we, as people now, us men, are supposed to go after the girl. Is that kind of still valid in your eyes, or is it just kind of like,
No.
hey, you?
I mean, it was, you know, Diane thought I was cute, good looking, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, she wanted to get to know me, and that's how it started. And we actually talked till about 4 o'clock that next morning,
Wow.
that same night.
Yeah.
You know, there's a Denny's right there, and we talked.
Sweet.
I got there, so no,
got
it's
hurt?
not up to a man to ask a woman could ask a man. There's no rule
Okay.
in that
Okay.
at all.
Who got whose number?
So I got her number.
See, there it is.
So I got her number
Yeah.
from Rick, who was the manager there at the time.
Oh.
And so
you went around.
So at the very end, after flirting and doing all the,
Yeah.
she walking down, strutting, and I'm looking. So I left the table and pretended I went to go call somebody, and I was really trying to find her, and I couldn't find her.
Yeah.
And so Rick came by, and,
Oh, okay.
and I was actually pretending I was on the phone, but I wasn't. And I go, hey. I go, hey, I said that the waitress, Diane. He goes, forget it. I got her number. It's right here. So let's turn this around. He goes, she gave me the number, her number, and she said, you can call her anytime. And I said, hey, can I ask you something? I said, can I come here tonight and talk to her tonight after I drop my parents off? Can I come back? And what time does she get off?
Yeah.
He goes, well, 10 o'clock. I said, okay, I'll be here about 9:45. I'll go sit at the bar and I'll wait. Is that all right? I'll have a drink when I come back. He goes, yeah. I said, okay. So that's what I did. I just came back, and then there's a Denny's right there on the corner,
Okay.
right next to Black Angus, across the street from St. Pius Church. That's actually where we got married.
Nice.
So we ended up waiting for her to get off work, but I got her number from Rick.
Yeah.
Diane gave Rick her number to give to me because she was too nervous to give me her number. But I went to look for her. So I would call that we kind of met each other
Yeah.
kind of halfway,
Yeah.
so we both kind of wanted the same thing.
Yeah. You're like.
And we were both hesitant, but we both found an attraction to each other, a physical attraction first, right? And then it got more into more finding out who's who, sort of like we're doing now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked till, like I said, 4 o'clock in the morning at that Denny's there on the corner.
Wow.
And what's funny is our second date was the exact same thing. We went out on a date and we talked till I think it was 2:30, 3 o'clock.
That's awesome.
And it was all talk. We talked for a couple of months before things started getting sideways.
Yeah. So, at what point in your experience to actually sit with that person to see how they think and what they want in life, is that super important, or it's just like, oh, you look attractive, let's fall in lust first, not love, lust, and then we'll see where things go? That's,
I mean, and in relationships, you always gotta, something attracts one from another.
yeah.
And sometimes it just happens that way. It doesn't have to be a physical attraction.
Okay.
It could be a mental attraction. It could be a character attraction. It could be a hobby attraction,
Yeah.
right? But getting to know each other is very important. Learning to compromise is very difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people, compromise isn't even in their vocabulary, and that's where a lot of people fall short. Understanding the meaning of when you actually get married, or what is your, goals. Goals are important.
Okay.
So what is it you want in life, right? How do you want your life to look 10 years from now, and 10 years from there, and 10 years from there? How do you want that to look? And sometimes we're moving so fast in life, we don't look at those things, right? So for hunting, I just don't go buy a gun and go out and just go kill something, or a bow and arrow. That's not how that works. There's planning that goes into this.
Yeah.
Where do I want to go? Why do I want to go? What do I want to eat? Do I really want to eat? Do I want to feed the hungry? Because there's programs out there where you can feed the hungry with wild game, right? So there's different things. So that takes a plan, right? What's the purpose? What's the purpose?
Yeah.
So, no, you just don't lust them. You don't like them. Yeah, you could. you could go online nowadays, I guess, I don't know what they call it, timber, whatever, they couldn't get on these sites, which are still good, because we're such busy lives. Dating sites.
Okay.
I don't know what they call them, but dating sites. But compromise is important. Family, if you have family, small or big, matters. How they interact with your family does matter, right? Because we're all going to be family sooner or later. If it doesn't work, it makes it harder on the relationship with the family, whether they're uncles, aunts, nephews, nieces, stepsons, stepdaughters, brothers. It does matter.
Yeah.
Is it 100%? Is it 100% of that? No, that's a percentage of it. But it's really important that we all see the same values, right? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So you have to have. So I asked Mike, right? Mike Zappa.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him for Diane's hand because her mom and dad weren't alive.
Oh,
so I don't know
wow.
if you don't know that.
I didn't know that. No.
I know that. There's a lot of respect that you give, and there's a lot of respect that you earn.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time in life, when you meet somebody, that respect not only starts with you and them, him and her, or her and him, right? It starts there, but it also bleeds into the family. So to me, that is important, that you don't have to accept Diane 100%. I do want your opinion because I value my family's opinion.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's my decision. But there are things, remember earlier I said we all have something to offer?
Yeah.
Everybody has something to offer.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes those voices, depending on who you're talking to, will make a difference on what they see because they're looking at it from a different perspective.
Yes.
Right? You can't. Oh, Diane, she's a witch.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew her from so and so, and she's an awful cook.
Yeah.
She takes off her makeup. She's ugly, and when she takes off her clothes, she turns, 800 pounds, and she's just an evil woman. You're not going to like her. I said, that's not what I'm seeing. No, you just can't see it right now because you're so close, right? So what I'm saying is that those not getting the approval of their family, but understanding the relationship as you compromise, as you learn each other, as going out, hey, what do you like? What do I like? You don't have to like the same things to become a couple. You just have to be compatible, right? And you could have two smart people together. You could have one smart person, one dumb person, one ugly, one not so ugly. You have one fat, one thin, one dark, one light. It doesn't matter. All that stuff, we all bleed red. We're all God's children, right? But you got to be compatible. So that chemistry, and I believe that there's a chemistry, and we have several soulmates out there in this world. Several, not just one, but there's several. Once you two find each other, it works. It just happens. But as you grow, as I grew, as I'm growing still, I'm still learning. You'll make mistakes, and I've made 100 of them, thousands of them, and I've learned a ton, and we've learned that. Diane and I have learned that together, and we share that, and we fight, and we argue, and we have happy times and good times, and we have financial burdens, and we have riches, and we have problems, and we have children, and we have, Diane's got two children, two lovely children, like I was mentioned earlier, David and Bernadette, right? Both are married, both have kids. That's like grandkids to me, right?
Yeah.
And then we had Whitney and Wyatt, so two other children that we had together. Diana was obviously previously married to Mr. Salazar, and he's a great man, good gentleman. It didn't work out for them, right, at that time, and you know, and she met me, and we're compatible, and more than you could imagine. So it works. It works.
Good.
But compatibility is important. Trust is important.
Yeah.
Lying, there's no room for lying. The truth will always set you free is a true statement.
Mm-hmm.
It may hurt other people to tell the truth, but at the same time, there's nothing clearer than the truth, right?
Yeah.
And you will learn that through your relationships and people. Evil is evil. Good will always be good. We both believe in God, so that's our choice.
Yeah.
My mom is Jewish, so that means really I'm Jewish, right? In the Jewish law. My brother, he went through his bar mitzvah. I decided to go Catholic.
Okay.
You know, that was my choice, and my mom let me do that choice. So there's compromise, right? There's compromise, right?
Yeah.
There. And you learn a lot from your parents or whoever's raising you at the time. And sometimes it's hard for us to listen and act. And I think that's one of our weaknesses as humans is sometimes we don't act on what people are trying to tell us.
But yeah, that makes perfect sense. How do you see your kids with spouses, and how did you see who they would date, how they would date, you know, all that stuff? Be like, oh, no, Whitney, you're not gonna date whoever. But of course, as they actually aged, of course, it's all up to them.
Right,
but
right. How did I handle that?
How did you handle like, you're like, who are you? You know, like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh
so
yeah. I did. I was very opinionated then.
Okay.
I was very forceful with both Whitney and Wyatt. They both had their own secrets when they were younger, and sometimes they listen and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And that's part of, you know, feeling life.
Mm-hmm.
But I was very controlling. I was more than Diane. I was, you know. So I was one of the parents. When Whitney says, "Hey, I'm going to go over to Jasmine's house and spend the night,"
Mm-hmm.
and I said, "Okay, I'll call Martha and Tony." Oh no, you don't have to call them. So Martha and Tony is mom and dad, right?
Yeah.
Right? Or Wyatt would say, "Well, I'm going to go spend the night over at Ben's house." I said, "Okay, I'll call Jeff or Julia," and he's like, "Well, sure, go ahead." Right? I said, "All right. I want to know the parents.
Okay.
I want to know, what do you do? Where do you work? Where do you live? What is your family life like? What's your house like? Because these are my children. How I raise my children is how I raise them.
Okay.
I don't care about anybody else, right? So now you're hearing me.
Yeah.
I don't care about anybody else. These are my children,
Yeah.
my responsibility, 100%, not mine, ours,
Mm-hmm.
Diane and I. So I was very, very protective that way, and I would call you, and I would ask questions,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a couple people say, "What? You know, what is this, 2020?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Because that's my daughter.
Yeah.
And you want to ask me a question? Go ahead. You want to come into my house? Come on. I want you to know more about me and what my daughter's like, right?" And so somebody's very protective and hiding and scared or not willing to do that, then they have something to hide. That's the way I looked at it.
Okay.
I'm not asking your finances, right? I'm not asking your blood type, right? I just want to know, where's my daughter or my son going,
Yeah.
for how long and when. And since we had phones, okay, this is when you call, this is when you tell me what's going on, I want to know everything. So I was that dad, and they call them controlling parents. Well, she can do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
I just want to know where she's going.
Okay.
When's she coming back? So that, and who you're dating, and like where you're gonna go, and you're gonna come back. You know, they write songs about all that stuff. I'll be cleaning my gun till 9:30. You know, I'll be waiting here for you when you get back.
Yeah.
You know, and I got a shovel in my truck, and those are both true statements. If you want to go look at my truck right now, there's still a shovel there. So they Whitney had a hell of a time getting somebody to like take her out. I guess I could be intimidating, but that's okay, because life is hard.
Yeah.
Life is very hard, and if you can't stand up and believe in what you want to do and talk to an adult, then you need to dig a little deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And so for Wyatt and Whitney both had manners. So did Davy and Bernie. I didn't see them grow up, but I could tell what kind of kids they are for 34 years. But they have manners, and they're good kids, and they were also bad kids.
Mm-hmm.
So we all have some dark sides and secrets, and drank when we shouldn't have, and jumped off of a roof when we shouldn't have, or go into Dad's closet and look at his gun, or some stupid things like that nowadays. Get on the internet and do things you're not supposed to, but I didn't have internet back then, so we didn't have that to do that. We just did other things.
Yeah.
So I was very protective. So yes, I was.
And how did you handle that? Like, if they did some, don't do this, don't do that, and then they.
Well, for example, hey, Jay,
So.
when you're out with my daughter,
Oh, okay.
when you put your arm around her, pretend you're putting your arm around me.
Yeah.
When you go kiss her, you pretend you're kissing me.
Whoa.
Right? So if you want to take that to the next step,
Yeah.
you just let me know and I'll help you with that. Okay?
Yeah.
So you remember those things
Yeah.
and you treat her with respect. Because if you don't,
Yeah.
you'll have to answer to me.
Yeah.
Period. And that was one of the things I said. And what I just said to you is I said to many kids.
Yeah.
And oh man, you're dead. Holy shit.
They're like, what card? I don't even have a card.
I don't have a card.
What?
I said, you like hunting or fishing, or yeah. Oh no, I never done that. Oh man, it's great. I said, be able to go out there and go hunting and catch your own catch and take a knife and cut open the stomach
And kill and stuff.
and kill it and pull the guts out and
They're
then fillet it and then put it on a barbecue and then eat it. I go, just to be able to kill something and eat it, something you harvested yourself, is one of the best feelings in the world. I said, one day we could do that together.
Yeah.
As long as you take care of my daughter.
Yeah.
And so I would say things like that. No joke.
That's awesome.
It was kind of joking because most of them got it and they're laughing and
Yeah.
But and with Wyatt. So with Wyatt, he's a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd ask girls out. I would talk to their parents. Hey, I'm going to ask this girl out, or I'm going to do this or that. And I said, great. I said, I want to talk to the parents. You know my role. So Diane would let me handle that part.
Okay.
Right? And then I'd talk to the female parent, the parents, whoever they are,
Yeah.
just to say, hey, I want you to know who I am. And you know what the answer was? Each time I spoke to a parent, it was like, most parents don't even do that. They don't even care where their children go.
Yeah.
They could be gone for 1 or 2 days and they don't even care. And with all the abduction and corruption and things that go on in life, no matter where in this world that you live, happens.
Yeah.
So my responsibility are these children and my wife. And so I take that, I don't take that lightly.
Yeah.
And so I protect them. And so most of the answers from the parents are like, wow, I think you're a little overboard. Or some of them are like, that's awesome.
You're like, you're a
Most
helicopter
of them,
parent.
yeah. You're awesome. I wish my husband or my wife was like that or whatever. I said, well, you start today. I says, but they don't go anywhere without me knowing it, And it's not a helicopter parent. It's a parent who loves their children and who loves this city that wants happiness, right? And so I do things for my city. I do things for this city here. I do things for the city where we lived before.
Yeah.
And you be part of the community. You help. You be part of a solution. Be part of the success versus part of the violent and the rudeness. You know, you you know, you want everybody to be happy and successful in life.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you could take that and give it to somebody and help them in life, whether it's life or if it's hunting or if it's broadcasting, you know, help them, enlighten them.
Yeah.
Right? Be kind to others. That's not hard. It's not.
Yeah, just saying, hi, how's your day going? And they're like, I don't want to talk to you. Okay,
What do you
cool.
want? What are you trying to sell me?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right.
I have no money.
Right.
I'm just trying to be a good human being, is what I'm trying to. I'm trying to see how your day's going. Because maybe you might be, like, you might hunt. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I know somebody who hunts.
Yeah.
Let's go hunt together. Let's go shooting.
Let's go, yeah.
You know, all this kind of, because I've seen nowadays it's kind of like, no, stay away from me, and it's all on the phone. It's like, oh, this is cool. Like it's like hits, like, oh, that was cool. It's okay. Then what have you learned from that? And still, I'll be like, okay, so how do you do that? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, cool. How you're saying you have a phone, you have all of the answers on there. But at the same time, if it's not applied, it's kind of useless up to a point that it's not being used. Yeah.
Correct. But everybody has their gift to the world.
Yes.
Right? And so whether you're a chess player, whether you're a broadcaster, whether you're a fighter, whether you're a cage fighter, jiu-jitsu, you know, football player, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, you could be a salesman, you could work at a grocery store, you could do anything. As long as you're good at it, and you're happy with it, and you don't put blame looks backwards. Okay? So you always need to look forward. And if you didn't know something, then maybe that you need to be educated on. Maybe that's something I should have looked harder at. Maybe that's something I should have asked a question. Not everybody out in the world needs to be told what to do. And that's what makes an individual and the difference between somebody who does nothing in their life or somebody who is always after it because it's never enough for them. You always have to go out there and achieve your best every day. Go out there and do your best. If you're a carpet cleaner, what's the best chemicals? What's the best machines? If I don't have it, then what's the best brush I could use? Right? And what's the best water? What type of water can I use? What kind of water should I use?
Yeah.
Right? What kind of chemical can I use? Right? So you break it down, but you don't. People want things too fast. They want it right now, because that's exactly what this is doing.
It's like oh.
You can't do that. Everything takes time to learn. But actually going out there and doing it, like you were just saying, you're exactly right. You are exactly right. They need to have hands-on. How do you get them away from laptops and computers and iPads and phones? Find somebody who likes jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Take them out, learn that. Jiu-jitsu is a great sport.
Yeah.
Right? Take them out, go hunting. Find somebody who likes to hunt.
Yeah.
Find somebody who likes to build ships. Be a model builder. Go do that. It doesn't have to be outdoors. It doesn't have to be a hand-to-hand combat. You know, just go out there and find out. You know, maybe somebody wants to be an engineer. You know, a computer engineer. So then you got to learn about electrical. Yeah. You got to learn about components.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know
to
anything.
build those things. Those things, you know. So, but you got to find that, and that'll take you inside versus take you outside. Right. But you got to go out there and do it. How do you get them away? You as a parent are responsible for your children or your friends' children. Just because you don't have children doesn't mean you don't have nothing to give. There's adoption centers. There's pets. There's somebody else's kids that you could help with. Or you could be a leader or a teacher.
Yeah.
Go out and teach jujitsu. Go out and teach firearm and archery safety course. Go out and teach programming,
Yeah.
right? But help kids. Do stuff for our youths. We need to do more for our youths in this world than you could ever imagine. We have let that go to the wayside, just like we've let our wildlife go to wayside, right? Our infrastructure, it's the same thing. So we need engineers that our infrastructure, if we could start building our infrastructures first before we start building houses, that would probably be a way to look at something. Because that way we have roads, sewers, electricities, ways of waterways. Our waterways are historical. They're historical.
Mm-hmm.
They're not up to date.
Yeah.
Today, in 2022, we are so behind, but we're not. We're too busy spending money over here or over there or doing this.
Yeah.
And so there are other ways to give back. And that was my point.
That's awesome. So I want to go over one more thing before we wrap up. You being a parent of somebody who Wyatt is a Marine, correct? Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. Like with that, I just want to thank all you guys who do that, because me not being, they're like the Army, Air Force, all that stuff, or even law enforcement, for what us people who aren't in or have not served, what we don't see, it's like
a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot for what the people who do serve have seen. And you got people who don't like law enforcement.
Correct.
Okay, fine. Who are you gonna call when something goes down?
Correct.
Are you gonna call your neighbor who you don't talk to because he doesn't cut the grass?
Right.
It's like how you're saying, we all have to be one.
Yep.
So with that being said, him being involved in that, which is awesome, and I just want to ask you how you kind of see that, him not being around right now as much, and how you handle that, to be like, oh, he's mine. Just all in all.
How do we handle it? Him being in the military?
Yes.
And how do we perceive it?
Yeah.
I was never in the military.
Okay.
My father was in the Army, and my uncles were in the Army. I got nieces and nephews in the military. I was all for it. Diane wasn't really for it.
Okay.
That's something Wyatt kind of always wanted to do. Something or not always, but wanted to do later up in life. And as he got a little bit older, because Wyatt actually started venturing into the Marines 2 years, so he was 16 when he started before 16, before he really wanted to be a Marine. And you can't become a Marine, serve for your country until you're 18.
Okay.
Right? So when Wyatt the day he turned 18 is the day he put his feet on the yellow footsteps to become a Marine. So he's already signed up for it.
Okay.
He's already did his ASVAB, did his paperwork, did his physicals, did everything else. And we signed his life away before he was 18. So Diane and I had to sign a consent form before he joined, because he was 17.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because he turned 18 2 or 3 days after he graduated high school. So he only had 2 or 3 days after graduation. He went right into the Marines.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, like 2 or 3 days. That was it. So we had a graduation party and a farewell party at the same time. So he was sworn, all that happened at that time. So how we handle it, we talk to others, talk to other friends.
Okay.
Right? Like how do you communicate? How do you do? What do they do? So I'm very inquisitive. So I'm always asking questions. which something Diane kind of likes, kind of doesn't like.
It's like, you're asking too many.
You always got to have something. You always got to say why or what. Or you always
Yep.
got to, that's a whole nother subject.
Yeah.
But it's tough. It's tough knowing that he was called to war. His unit was called to war. He never stepped foot on the soil, but he was there. He was in an off spray. He was getting ready to hit the dirt, and things changed moments before they actually hit the dirt. And so it really kind of happened, kind of didn't. So he never saw combat. But we didn't learn that till like months later, right? Not having your child around because they went to join the military is heartbreaking and proud at the same time. So it's tearing you apart. So you're excited over here, but yet you're scared over here, and what's going to happen. And we didn't really grow up in a military family.
Okay.
But we had military in our family.
Mm-hmm.
So it was easier accepted, right? Davey, right, his brother, Diane's son, my stepson, he was already in the sheriff's department.
Okay.
At that time. So when Wyatt was young, Davey joined the LA County Sheriffs. So Diane's already had a taste of what it's like to have a son that's in the front line. And she took it a little bit better than I did. I took it fine, but I was very inquisitive. So I was very involved in our children's way of life and their activities. And so I continued that as they grew up. So I'm involved in their work. I'm involved in their friends because we're family, right? Not every day, not every second.
Yeah.
And so how we dealt with it was communication.
Okay.
So we dealt with it as long as Wyatt communicated back. We felt okay, but there was months where we didn't talk to him. So So it's just kind of, man, what's going on, or what's he doing, or is he okay? Well, if he's not okay, we would have found out, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Of course.
So if we could think about that and think about what the plan is, right? Here we go, talk about planning again. We can think about what the plan is, how it's set, what do we expect, what to look forward to, what we know, what we were taught. We already, if something happens to Wyatt, you'll know. You'll get a phone call. People will come to you.
Yeah.
The whole 9 yards. If he gets hurt, you'll get a phone call or a text or something. You'll get contacted. And then they have other people that are actually here that talk to you. Right now that we have technology, there's Facebook pages, there's private pages that we communicated with the staff, right? So, but they didn't tell you everything, but they just kind of, okay, right now they're in the Middle East and he'll be gone for a few months. That's all we know.
Wow.
Right. So, but it's one of those growing things, right? We're always learning.
Yeah. That's for sure.
And it's not the first time someone's been in the military.
Yeah.
Right. That's the first time someone's been a cop. I'm not the first hunter in the world.
Yeah.
Right? So things aren't impossible. Life is there for your grabbing. Most of us get in our own ways. We get in the way. Go after it. Achieve it. Believe it. Get help. Ask for help. Right?
That's 100% right, because you have a lot of people who can't or won't.
Right.
And it's like, why not? But
so one of our scoutmasters, Mr. Kellogg, one of his sayings was, you talk to the scouts and they're about to do some stuff, and he'd look at you and you go, okay, is it a good idea, bad idea?
Yeah.
Think about it. What you're about to do, is it a good idea, bad idea? So that was one of his ways, and I always remember that. One of his ways of saying, hey, we've all got choices in life.
Yeah.
And it's easy words, right? We all have choices. Make the right choice. Make good choices. They write songs about it. They make movies about it. We tell you that since the day you were born.
Yeah.
But you got to put it to use. You got to make good choices. You know, and that's, we need to have more love in the world. We need to trust one another. We need to communicate more. And there is no excuse. There's no excuse. It's just failure. It's you either do it or you don't do it. And don't wear feelings on your sleeve all the time. You know, things happen. Things are going to happen. Just make life the best you can. Always be courteous and kind to yourself and others, all the time, the best that you can. That's important.
That's solid advice. 100%.
100%.
All right. We are out of time today, so thank you so much
You're welcome.
in your humble abode, because it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And he has dogs, so don't try anything. And they'll eat your face off.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But thank you again. So this is gonna conclude today.
Yeah.
I hope everybody has a great rest of your day or night wherever you are. And we are over and out.
Over and out. Thank you.